The email subject line read final baby shower details, do not forward, and when I opened it by mistake, it was meant for someone named Jessica Thompson, not Jessica Torres, me. I found a guest list of 92 people and an instruction to the event planner that said, under no circumstances mention the surrogate. We're telling everyone it was a miracle pregnancy after years of trying. I was 7 months pregnant with their baby, sitting in my OBGYN's waiting room for my checkup, and my hands started shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone. The question wasn't whether the ED planned to erase me from their story, the question was whether I had any legal right to stop them. Drop a comment and let me know where you re-listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. My name is Dr. Jessica Torres. I'm 36 years old, and I'm a biomedical researcher at a pharmaceutical company in San Diego. I spend my days analyzing cellular structures, running protein assays, and designing experiments that might eventually lead to life-saving drugs. My work is precise, methodical, and completely divorced from emotion. I manipulate cells. I control variables. I document everything. I should have applied that same rigor to my family. My brother, Cameron, is 40. He's a real estate developer who builds luxury condos and drives a Tesla and married a woman named Sloan who works in brand consulting. Which as far as I can tell means she gets paid to tell companies their logos are the wrong shade of blue. They've been married for 6 years, and for 5 of those years, they've been trying to have a baby. I knew about the fertility struggles because Sloan talked about them constantly. At family dinners, she'd bring up failed IVF cycles, hormone shots, the emotional toll. My mother would pat her hand and say things like God's timing is perfect, while my father nodded sympathetically. I stayed quiet. I was the single one, the one focused on my career, the one who didn't have kids or want them. My role at family gatherings was to be successful but not too successful, present but not too opinionated, helpful but not intrusive. 18 months ago, Cameron called me. His voice had that specific quality that meant he was about to ask me for something big. Jess, can we meet for coffee? Sloan and I want to talk to you about something important. We met at a Starbucks near my lab. Sloan was wearing athleisure and had that glow people get when they about to make an emotional pitch. Cameron looked nervous. We need a favor, Cameron said. A big one. I waited. Sloan leaned forward. We want you to be our surrogate. The word hung in the air. Surrogate. I set down my latte. You want me to carry a baby for you? We've been through 7 IVF cycles, Sloan said. Her eyes were already getting shiny. My uterus has scarring from endometriosis. The doctors say I could carry a pregnancy, but the risk of miscarriage is over 70%. We can't go through another loss, Jess. We just can't. Cameron took my hand. You're the only person we trust. You're healthy, you're responsible, you're family. We'd use our embryos, Sloan's eggs, my sperm, so it would be biologically ours. You'd just be the carrier. Just the carrier. As if pregnancy was a neutral act, like holding someone's mail while they're on vacation. This is a huge ask, I said slowly. We know. And we'd cover everything. All medical costs, maternity clothes, lost wages if you need time off work. We'd make sure you're taken care of. Have you looked into agencies? Professional surrogates? Sloan's face tightened. They're so expensive. Like $150,000 for the surrogate alone, plus legal fees and medical costs. And it feels so transactional. This is family. This is love. This is expensive, and you're free. But I didn't say that. I said, can I think about it? I thought about it for 3 weeks. I researched surrogacy. I read forums. I talked to my doctor about the medical risks. I made a list of pros and cons. Pros, I'd be helping my brother have a family. I'd get to experience pregnancy without the long-term commitment of parenting. It was medically low risk for me, I was healthy, no history of complications. Cons, 9 months of physical changes. Career disruption. The complexity of carrying a baby I'd hand over. In the end, I said yes. Because Cameron was my brother. Because Sloan seemed desperate. Because I thought I could handle the biological process and remain emotionally detached. I should have known better. I'm a scientist. I know biology doesn't follow good intentions. The embryo transfer happened in March. One of their frozen embryos, implanted in my uterus at a fertility clinic in La Jolla. Cameron and Sloan were there, holding hands in the waiting room. I was on the table with my feet in stirrups, being impregnated with my brother's genetic material via catheter. It was clinical. It was weird. But the procedure worked. 2 weeks later, pregnant. Cameron and Sloan were ecstatic. They sent a gift basket to my apartment, chocolates, prenatal vitamins, a card that said, "Thank you for giving us the greatest gift." The first trimester was rough. Morning sickness that lasted all day. Fatigue that made it hard to focus at work. I'd text Sloan updates, threw up 3 times today. Can't stay awake past 7 p.m. Everything smells like death. She'd respond with emojis and encouragement. You're doing amazing. 2 hearts. The baby is going to be so grateful for Auntie Jess. Auntie Jess. Not Mom. Never Mom. I was the vessel. The medical bills started immediately. My insurance didn't cover surrogacy, it was classified as elective. I got a bill for the embryo transfer, $4,200. I forwarded it to Cameron. He texted back, insurance should cover that. Can you call them? I called. They said no. I called Cameron back. They won't cover it. It's considered surrogacy, not infertility treatment. There was a pause. Okay, well, we're kind of tight right now with the new condo development. Can you front it and we'll reimburse you? Front it. Sure. I paid the $4,200. Then came the OB visits. $800 per appointment. I paid. Ultrasounds, $1,200 each. I paid. Genetic testing, $2,400. I paid. Every time I sent Cameron the invoices, he'd say the same thing, we'll reimburse you. Things are just tight right now. The condo project has some cash flow issues. By month 5, I'd paid $23,600 in medical costs. I stopped sending him invoices. I just paid them and tracked them in a spreadsheet, occupational habit. I felt the baby move for the first time in month 5. A flutter, then a kick. I was in my lab, pipetting samples, and I had to sit down. I texted Sloan, I felt the baby kick. She responded immediately, OMG really? Can I come over and feel? She came over that night. She put her hands on my belly and waited. The baby kicked. She burst into tears. That's my son, she whispered. That's my baby. So, they'd found out the sex without asking if I wanted to know. I was carrying a boy. Their boy. Month 6, the baby shower invitation appeared on their social media. Sloan posted a photo of a blue and white invitation with gold lettering, join us in celebrating baby boy Cameron. I wasn't tagged. I didn't receive an invitation. I texted Cameron, hey, saw the baby shower post. Am I invited? He called me back. Oh, Jess, about that. Sloan and I talked, and we think it might be weird having you there. People will ask questions. It's complicated to explain the surrogacy thing. We're trying to keep it simple. Simple. You understand, right? This is about celebrating the baby, not about the logistics of how we got here. Logistics. As if my body was a shipping container. Sure, I said. I understand. I didn't push it. I told myself it didn't matter. This wasn't my baby. I was just the carrier. But then, 2 weeks ago, I got the email. I was sitting in my OB's waiting room for my 28-week checkup when my phone buzzed. An email from someone named Trisha Martinez, subject line, final baby shower details, do not forward. I almost deleted it, but then I saw it was addressed to Jessica Thompson at an email address 1 letter off from mine, Thompson92 instead of Jdoors92. A mistake. I opened it. From Trisha Martinez, Elite Events Planning. To Jessica Thompson. Subject, final baby shower details, do not forward. Jessica. Everything is confirmed for the Cameron baby shower on November 18th, final head count, 92 guests. Attached is the seating chart and vendor schedule. One important note from Sloan, under no circumstances should you or any staff mention the word surrogate or reference anyone other than Sloan being pregnant. The official story is that this was a miracle pregnancy after years of trying. Sloan wants this to be a joyful celebration without complicated questions. If anyone asks about Sloan's figure, since she's not visibly pregnant, the response is, she's been very private about her pregnancy and is carrying small. Please brief all vendors accordingly. Thanks. Trisha. I read it 3 times. Then I opened the attachment. A guest list. 92 people. Family, friends, Sloan's work colleagues, Cameron's business partners. My name wasn't on it. And the note to vendors, don't mention the surrogate. The official story, miracle pregnancy. I was 7 months pregnant. My feet were swollen. My back ached constantly. I'd paid $31,400 in medical bills. I'd updated my spreadsheet that morning. I'd carried this baby through nausea, exhaustion, sciatic nerve pain, and the constant awareness that my body wasn't entirely my own anymore. And I was the secret. The complication. The logistical detail they were erasing from their miracle. I sat in that waiting room and something cold and clear settled into my chest. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. I called my attorney. Not my family lawyer, my medical rights attorney, a woman named Patricia Vance who specialized in reproductive law. I'd consulted her before agreeing to the surrogacy, just to understand my legal position. She'd advised me to get a formal surrogacy contract. I hadn't. It was family. We'd trusted each other. Patricia, it's Jessica Torres. I need to understand something about surrogate parental rights in California. Okay. What's the situation? I'm 7 months pregnant as a surrogate for my brother and his wife. We don't have a formal surrogacy contract. What are my legal rights regarding the baby? There was a pause. Jessica, without a formal gestational surrogacy agreement terminating your parental rights, you are legally considered the mother of that child. Your name will be on the birth certificate unless you formally relinquish parental rights after birth. My heart started pounding. Even though it's not my egg? In California, maternity is established by who gives birth, not genetics. Genetics matter for paternity, but the person who carries and delivers the baby is legally the mother unless there's a pre-birth order or formal surrogacy contract stating otherwise. So I could keep the baby? You could refuse to relinquish parental rights, yes. It would be legally complicated, potentially traumatic for everyone involved, but yes, without a contract, you have parental rights. Jessica, why are you asking this? Because they're erasing me. They're throwing a baby shower and telling everyone it was a miracle pregnancy. They've asked me not to come because my presence would be complicated. And I just realized I've paid $31,400 in medical bills they promised to cover. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Do you want to keep this baby? Did I? I looked down at my belly. I felt the baby move, a roll, a kick against my ribs. I didn't know. But I knew I wanted the option. I want leverage, I said. I want them to understand they don't get to erase me and keep the baby. Then you need to not sign anything after the birth until we've negotiated terms. And you need to document everything, every expense, every conversation, every broken promise. I had the spreadsheet. I had the emails. I had Patricia's voice in my ear saying you're still the mother like an incantation. That night, I drove to Cameron and Sloane's house. I didn't call ahead. I just showed up. Cameron answered the door, surprised. Jess? Everything okay? Is it the baby? We need to talk. All three of us. Sloane came to the door, holding a tablet that showed baby nursery designs. Is something wrong? I walked past them into their living room. I sat down on their expensive couch, the couch they could afford because they weren't paying my medical bills. I got an email today. It was meant for your event planner, but it came to me by mistake. Sloane's face went pale. What email? The one about your baby shower. The one with 92 guests. The one where you've instructed all vendors not to mention that you have a surrogate. The one where you're telling everyone this was a miracle pregnancy. Cameron sat down. Jess, let me explain. Let me explain something to you first. I've paid $31,400 in medical bills that you promised to cover. I've carried your baby for 7 months while you've been planning a celebration I'm not invited to because my existence complicates your narrative. And I just spoke with my reproductive rights attorney. Your attorney? Sloane's voice went up an octave. She said something interesting. She said that without a formal surrogacy contract, which we do and have because this was family, and we trusted each other, I am legally the mother of this baby. My name goes on the birth certificate. I have parental rights. And I don't have to relinquish them. The room went silent. Cameron found his voice first. You wouldn't. Jess, this is our baby. You agreed to carry him for us. I agreed to carry a baby for family who would support me and respect me. Not for people who erase me from their story and stick me with tens of thousands of dollars in bills. Sloane stood up. You're being ridiculous. You don't even want kids. You've said that 100 times. You're right. I don't know if I want kids. But I know I don't want to give my baby to people who think I'm a dirty secret to be hidden, my baby. The words came out before I'd fully decided they were true. Cameron's jaw tightened. What do you want? I want the $31,400 you owe me. Immediately. I want a written acknowledgement that I am the surrogate, not erased from your story like I never existed. And I want to be at that baby shower, or there is no baby shower, because without my consent, you don't have a baby. You can't do this, Sloane whispered. Actually, I can. I'm the one who's pregnant. I'm the one with legal parental rights. You have a biological connection. I have a legal one. And right now, the law is on my side. I stood up. My back ached. The baby kicked, as if weighing in on the conversation. You have 48 hours to decide. Either you pay what you owe, acknowledge what I've done, and treat me like a human being who's giving you the greatest gift. Or I keep this baby and you can hire a lawyer to fight me for custody of a child I'll have birthed, paid for, and gestated in a state where maternity is determined by childbirth. I walked to the door. Jess, please, Cameron started. 48 hours. You wanted simple. Here's simple, respect me, or lose everything. I left. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, hands on my belly, feeling the baby move, wondering if I'd just threatened to keep a child I wasn't sure I wanted just to prove a point. But then I thought about the email. Don't mention the surrogate. Miracle pregnancy. The erasure. I'd spent 7 months being uncomfortable, sick, and broke so they could have a family. And they'd planned to celebrate without me like I was a shameful secret. The next morning, Cameron called. "We'll pay you. All of it. And you can come to the shower." She's upset, but she agrees. I want it in writing. And I want a formal surrogacy agreement drafted before this baby is born, acknowledging my role and establishing clear parental rights transfer. I want legal protection, Cameron. I want proof that I did this, and I want to know you won't erase me from this child's history. Agreed. I'll have my attorney draft something. My attorney will review it. And the $31,400 gets wired today. Today? Today. Or I keep the baby and you get nothing but a complicated custody battle. The money arrived in my account at 3:47 p.m. All of it. The surrogacy agreement was drafted, reviewed, and signed 1 week before my due birth. It acknowledged my role. It included a clause that I would be referred to as Aunt Jessica, to the child, and that my contribution would be acknowledged in age-appropriate ways as the child grew. It wasn't perfect. But it was documented. I went to the baby shower. Sloan introduced me to guests as Cameron's sister, who's been such an amazing support during our journey. Not surrogate. Not the woman carrying your baby. Support. But I was there. I was visible. The baby was born 4 weeks later. A healthy boy, 7 pounds 4 ounces. I held him for exactly 10 minutes in the delivery room before the nurse took him to Cameron and Sloan. Those 10 minutes were the longest of my life. I looked at his face, Cameron's nose, Sloan's chin, a whole person I'd grown, and I felt something I hadn't expected: grief. Not for the baby. For the 9 months where I'd been treated like an incubator instead of a person. I signed the papers. I relinquished parental rights. My name wasn't on the birth certificate. But the surrogacy agreement was. The acknowledgement was. The record was. It's been 6 months. Cameron and Sloan send me photos sometimes. The baby is beautiful. They named him Austin. I see him once a month. Aunt Jessica visits. I bring gifts. I hold him. And every time, I think about the email. Don't mention the surrogate. But I did. I mentioned it. I documented it. I made sure that even if they wanted to erase me, the law wouldn't let them. I'm sitting in my apartment now. My body has mostly recovered. My bank account has been replenished. My life has returned to normal. But I'm different. I learned something in those 9 months. Generosity without boundaries isn't love. It's exploitation with a smile. And biology might determine who grows inside you, but the law determines who gets to keep them. I didn't keep Austin. But I kept my dignity. And sometimes, that's the better choice.